魔法騎士団救援要請を。
ここまで来て何言ってんだ。
Finding a way to bring this family back into the limelight since they mean quite a bit to me. Man, I love how they just reached a point where the animation went from being okay in my books to decent and then just kept up with that standard. Okay, so I just wrote the previous win and then I'm met with imagery like that and I'm just left nodding and thinking, yeah, you were spot on, dude. I mean, look at that! Also, guys and gals, as always, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. These videos take forever to make and it means a lot to me, especially when they perform well, so I'd really appreciate that. If they were showing her face whilst she thought that, I'd have stuck a me on it, because that's almost exactly what I was thinking when I heard it, just for different reasons than her. Normally Zora is the outcast, as it were, so it's good for a path to have been found for him in this training part of the story. For like the 5th or 6th consecutive time, Vanessa still remaining in this anime absolutely will never ever cease to equal one win. It's so weird hearing him ask about someone other than Marie, but I guess that's a nice bit of team building between these two, since they've had moments like this in the past, ever since teaming up to find a cure for Asta way back when. I love Yami as a character and I want to shout him out quickly because he did a small but great role in season 2 of ReZero as the Devil of Melancholy, and for real, that anime is stupidly underrated, one of the greatest official soundtracks ever, and if my opinion means anything to you, you should definitely check it out. Amazing story, and I've covered both seasons on both of my channels. God, she's cute, and ever since the animation took a more permanent uptick, her facial expressions have been really popping. As always, I adore these moments where everyone is together and relaxing. I think I've been talking about this since back in like episode 16, and it's still awesome to me. Just can't believe I'm now approaching the end. Not running on the spot. This is brilliant, as it's so logical that Yami would ask this question, because it makes little sense to just risk their lives for the upcoming insanely important battle ahead of them for something that may not work. This newfound confidence that's been building in Noelle makes for some epic character progression overall, and it sparks confidence in these two as well, much the same way as Mereoleona does, and it's nice to see that side of her having rubbed off a little on Noelle. Just as Noelle has progressed, so has Finral, as seen right here, whereas before he'd have just been freaking out. I still love that song so much, it's so good! Some unexpectedly lovely animation! Oh, I'm so stupidly proud of Finral and such obvious and great development. That's so excellently well done.
自然のマナの力を借りて強力な魔法を使えますが、それでも悪魔を倒せません。お願い。
That had like 10 frames in it!
すごい強度だ。
やるじゃないフィンラル。
Oh my god, that's so clever! Finral is the best!
ごめんなさい。少しの間眠っていてちょうだい。
Black Clover just seriously putting out some really great animation quality right there, and I swear their fast impact animation effects have just been improving as their power continues to improve. Super impressive.
遺跡？穴の底にこんな場所があるなんて。
昔はここにも人が住んでたのかな。
As someone who loves lore in anime and history in real life, I'm not even going to attempt to lie, I love stuff like this. They must have hated the dancing scenes with all of the animation required, and yet they knuckled down time and time again and provided really nice visuals like this. Hats off to them, man. Oh, that's so cute and wholesome! Another win is thoroughly deserved right here. Just a beautiful scene visually, and again in a wholesome sense as the creatures all turn back to normal and such. It's really a great episode for Noelle as a character. Really proud of her, if that makes any sense. You know what? They can take a rare 2 wins award right here for pulling a ReZero and skipping the ED in order to give us a bit more extra content. Oh, and what content it was as well! This episode proved to also be excellent for Finral as a character, and that's really driven home with his talk with Yami at the end, and then everyone heads inside to eat, and it's just a fantastic ending to the episode in all honesty, so well worth 2 wins. Finding a way to improve upon Charmy's magic abilities such as this. I really cannot believe just how often they're using fantastic animation in episodes such as this. It's like they had a budget and said, yeah, we're going to use all of it.
燃えるようなギラギラしたよだれ、さらに燃えるようなギラギラしたおでこ。
Charmy having her own small but not too small to not deserve a win training montage of food gathering related goodness.
この料理はちんちく。仲間のために命がけで集めた食材で作ったものなんだ。
Not only did that make me genuinely chuckle to myself, but yeah, again, look at that facial expression. It's cute and it's animated different to the norm. Dedication!
魔人料理が自分自身の魔力を増強するために俺たちの魔力を吸収しているんだ。だから誰?
That's seriously such a great ongoing joke. I mean, they never really entertain guests, so it also does make sense.
小僧に壊れた箇所から魔力が流れ出てるんだ。
Well, this is the thing that occurred during the course of this episode. This little scene showcasing how much stronger Asta has become with his anti-magic abilities, and of course showing everyone working and training together.
Gordon senpai, 俺がうまい食べ物を集めてきますよ。
しっかりしろよ、ゴードン。
He genuinely does great impressions of everyone. That's creepily well done right there. The fact that before fleeing he picked up his wood carvings of his friends is incredibly endearing. Being nice to animals is always a win. I'm really enjoying how, even though these are essentially largely filler episodes, that they're spending the time wisely by focusing on different characters each time. So far, Noelle and Finral were represented in the first, Charmy and Gordon had their moment in the second, and thus far Zora is looking to have his now. I suppose that in many ways it's actually better to have this training and character building warm up to the main event, rather than skipping straight to it, or doing a quick montage saying 6 months later or whatever. Zora being Zora and this kid managing to get one last attack against the bullies. Good on you, boy! That's rare to see in anime!
そうだよ。下民の父さんが魔法騎士団へ入りたいだなんて。
いつも魔法騎士団に入るって言ってるだろ。それはな、自分なら絶対にできるって信じてるからだ。
Little flashbacks like this really set into place just how great of a man his father was, even getting injured over and over so that Zora got used to helping patch him up, and yet he still kept aiming higher until the very end.
ゲミン、こいつがなんだかわかるか？
魔道具。
Zora being awesome and using his magic kind of like Finral would? That's brilliant! Within the confines of this episode and its story, I'm glad that the father was able to save his son without Zora getting involved, because it allowed for the narrative to be built that peasant or no peasant, they can do great things all the same, such as matching a noble's powers. It also allows for the son to find joy at being his father's son, and knowing everything he does for him. Take one final win here for the end of episode 138, a very good one for Zora, who learns that he just wants to truly go on the path of his father and become a true magic knight, and then decides to go and help the others to aim as high as possible themselves in what was just a very good episode for him as a character.
おめえは飲まないの？
いいですね。たまには団長と二人で静かに飲みたいって思ってました。でも、また今度お願いします。
This little moment showing how much Vanessa wants to improve so that there can actually be a future where she can sit down and enjoy a drink alone with Yami.
私たちはこれから戦わなければならないの。それに、うちの連中は無茶な戦い方が当たり前になってしまってる。今まで誰一人として欠けていないのは不思議なくらいに。
Then this bit is even better for me, because Vanessa is just desperate not to lose anyone and mentions how close they've come to that very thing numerous times by people pushing themselves too far. Animating multiple characters and cute little bunny looking squirrel things on screen at the same time.
音魔法ね。幻影を映す魔法。
They are very weak, but still very much both new types of Magicadas!
森の魔女はおしゃべり好き。でも、私がそのおしゃべりの輪に入ったことは。これ安くしとくわよ。今ならなんと。
I swear, even simple things like walking have been massively improved. There's just a lot more motion now, and it's great to see, especially with Vanessa, I'm not even kidding.
することないから畑作ってるんだけど、それだけじゃ到底食えないし。私がこうやって魔道具の出張販売で稼がなきゃならないのよ。
I was surprised to find out that he wasn't actually in the manga, and so I'm really impressed at how he was put into the anime, and now he's getting touched on again so many episodes later as we meet his wife again.
みんなを笑顔にしたい。その思いだけは諦めきれなかった。今も私は誰の泣き顔も見たくない。どんな魔法も使い方と組み合わせ次第でいろんなことができる。
Even though these episodes are very simple, it's still been really good getting a deep dive on each character and how they're aiming to improve themselves, and more than that, it's not just been about magic and power, but instead it's also focused on the characters learning things about themselves that have made them stronger. That was sick! Yet again another brilliant end to the episode, each time feeling more wholesome than the last as Vanessa decides what path is right for her to follow in order to become as strong as possible for her friends and family. I must admit, I've just been really enjoying these character focused episodes and witnessing their development, and it was just plain old nice seeing the end between Yami and her as well. Very sweet.
よくここを通ると分かったね。
あなたに何年お仕えしていると思っているんですか。
Oh, look at the little wizard king!
水創生魔法海流の水まりまだまだもっとだ強い持ってこい仲間だか
Great animation and maybe CGI, I don't even know, I can't tell, and that's the best!
水創生魔法海流の方向
Asta is getting incredibly powerful and it's a joy to witness!
サリーの魔法科学の知識に目をつけたユリウス様が彼女に今後の戦いに役立つ魔道具を作ってほしいと私は反対したのですが
Having Sally in the episode and bringing magical items more into focus for the first time in a very, very long time, something I've been talking about since maybe the first 15 to 20 episodes. You can most definitely tell this is an anime filler episode, but it's certainly not without its comedic moments and of course the wider building narrative of a potentially powerful magical item helping them in the coming battle, and that's important too.
もちろんだ
何ベタベタしちゃってるのでも
I do not dislike this!
誰かのためになる研究の方が僕も嬉しい
サリーまただ
確かにそうかも
This end to the first half. It's good to see Sally properly turning over a new leaf and potentially even taking quite a liking to Asta too. Gorgeous scenery shot with a beautiful view of the village from above.
ただでというわけにはいかない。これで足りるか。こんなにならば余った分は村の復旧に充てるがいい。本当にいいのか
This legend casually helping out an entire village like it's no big deal whatsoever.
そうだこの子を抱いておくれバーラって名付けたんだよ
いや
Ugh, these episodes are just dripping with wholesome juice.
この村の
Plot twist?
白夜の魔眼の騒乱でこの村もひどいありさまになりました。しかし未だ王都からの救いの手は差し伸べられず、さらに貧しい生活を強いられていたのです。
Revealing more about the extent that the last great battle caused on the little guy out in the country like this, unable to properly continue to support themselves and survive. A good lesson for war as a whole. A really just end to this episode, as they're given aid and as penance ordered to also help restore fellowing neighbouring villages too. Just a really good end there. Right, so this almost never happens, but that's my favourite OP yet, and as such it's getting a maximum 2 wins award because not only did I genuinely really dig the song and the sounds of that song, but the animation was truly nothing short of spectacular, and I do not use that word lightly. I was so very impressed with that my mouth was honestly open, especially at the start, where the CGI is nothing short of gorgeous looking. Take those 2 well-deserved wins with my thanks.
Yuno任務続きだけど疲れてない
平気です
Not only has animation continued to improve, as I've mentioned already, but also they're getting more and more creative with stylistic shots such as this, something they'd never have done before, or at least very rarely.
アスタを知っているのか
アスタとノエルとマグナがこの村を悪者から守ってくれたんだ
What an absolute blast from the past right there! That was back during the very first part of this series! God, it's insane to think how far I've come! Thanks for sticking with me all the way!
岩石創生魔法世界を語る模型岩
His magic never gets old. It's so creative, I love it!
なんだあの首輪は
可愛いでしょおとなしくなったイノシシを何頭か飼うことにしたそうですわ
It's rare to get 2 in 1 video, but why not? Being nice to animals will always be a win!
実力も指揮能力も十分でしょうまあ小生意気でいけすかないやつですが
君は変わったねもちろんいい意味で
風魔かまいたちの味方にさせるか 度の魔法を相殺した。
足止めもろくにできないとは所詮は下民の盗賊だな。せっかく魔道具だって貸してやったのに。
I must admit, these dungeons have always intrigued me from a lore standpoint. Like, who built them? How do they suddenly just appear? And who created and hoarded the treasures in them? I'm enjoying this episode in terms of how we learn that sometimes bandits will rush to new dungeons in order to loot them before the realm and its magic knights can come and claim them. Man, I love magical items just for this very reason. It really opens up the doors of what is possible in this world and breaks the normal rules. Really impressive battle animation for an episode that's basically filler, as we see numerous different types of magical attacks again and again.
ユノがみんなと打ち解けるいい機会だな。喜んで。おいユノ。
ユノ。
ハモンさんはオートの美味しい店をいろいろ知ってるのよ。
どうせなら他の仲間にも声かけてパーッとやろうぜ。
これまで出会った仲間たち、これから出会う仲間も家族みたいに大切にしようぜ。
ユノ、照れてるのか。
照れてません。
照れてますわ。
照れてない。
Can't believe how effortlessly wholesome they're making these endings, especially managing to find a way to link it to something Asta once said to him in another episode ages ago about making friends and keeping them close. Really impressed once more, this time seeing Yuno grow and also the Golden Dawn as a whole. That was epic. As is bread and butter for Black Clover, we get a brand new ED complete with an addictive headbanging song, quite the opposite to the last ED though, to be fair, but appreciated by yours truly, and then the animation is sick, not much else to say, loved that new one as well, one of the better ones for sure. Oh yeah baby, take a fresh win here for an equally fresh new start to the episode, focusing once more on Asta, but also some guy with crutches, and I'm like, confused and excited and also a little hungry. Let's go!
時は少し遡り、白夜の魔眼がオートへ進行する少し前。
Scenery shot of a village and farmland in the distance that probably took ages to put together.
じゃあお母さんの炎魔法とあなたの空間魔法の力を少しお借りしますね。
Well, that's like a game changer and insanely cool. She can borrow and use more than one type of magic at any one time.
我らエルフの民の恨みを。
早く助けておくれ。
Black Clover still refusing to ever sweep anything under the rug. They don't just return to default settings and then crack on with the next arc. They're always dealing with lingering feelings and emotions and events from the past. Massive props to them, seriously. His magic is more stunning looking every time I see it, and it's wild to see it from a complete outsider's perspective as well. Oddly makes me feel privileged for having been able to witness the events up close.
ダムナティオ様はそれで本当に納得されているのですか。
納得はしていない。だが物事には順序というものがある。優先すべきもの。
Things like this always impress me because the bad guy isn't just obnoxiously bad for the sake of it, but instead even he is putting his country and its people first, rather than blindly being terrible for no logical reason.
何をするのですか。
私たちは自らの手で悪魔の使いを滅ぼしたいのです。
悪魔の使いを。
This? Now this is a very interesting turn of events. Well played, Black Clover.
そうだ、マリー・アドレイ、没落貴族の娘。兄は元犯罪者。そして。
Now it's even more interesting because there's a secret group of them now and they have their own mask, and I love stuff like this. Just reminds me of video game stuff.
なんだお前らは。
姉女さん。
我々はデビル・バニッシャーである。
デビル。マリーちゃんを連れては行かせない。
Even though it's a small role, it's so awesome to see a character from one of the first arcs of the series still being shown in the anime. That's such a strong suit of Black Clover.
水創生魔法、海流の
植物魔法、ロボの花。
砂魔法、目くらましだ。
あった、ネロ。
早い。
水創生魔法、海流の水まり。
That's brilliant. I thought they were going to merely have Noelle now sidelined after being attacked, but instead she has the courage and determination to immediately follow, just like she did when he was taken during their visit to the other country to see the Queen.
何ですかいきなりこんなところに連れてきて。
These are the moments I adore Yami the most, where something happens to one of his team and he puts everything aside and just acts, such as grabbing Marks and just taking him straight there to help. Pulling out a first-person perspective like it's no big deal at all.
俺が不在の間にアジトを襲った上、うちの団員を連れ去るた。
I would have just added this to win number 1722, but heck, why not add an extra one for that powerful reaction from an angry Yami? This is legit!
甘く見られたものだな。ひざまずけ！
なんだ！Goodness me, his magic really isn't something to be trifled with, and what a powerful example of that right here.
うちの団員がまた世話になってるみてえだな。
That was so awesome!
のことをしでかし、私を誘拐犯扱いしたのだ。それ相応の責任は取ってもらうぞ。
It's worth noting how good this is as well, because so many other anime treat this kind of damage to a building as literally nothing except maybe for comedic effect. Next scene, it's all just back to normal. But here he's mentioned not once, not twice, but 3 times at how not only is he demanding justice for the accusations, but also for the destruction caused to his office and building. That's bloody brilliant!
あれか。
We've had a few scenery shot wins already, but I mean, how can I not? It'd just be rude not to.
確か名前はデビルハイシャー。
バニッシャーよ。
デビルお注射。
バニッシャーよ。
Take one more here for a very funny Petite Clover ending.
すいません、忙しいんで。壊れた家も直さなきゃいけないし、やることが山ほどあるんですよ。
I guess another thing that's not only obvious, but that should also be mentioned as a win is the fact that they've delicately laid out before us over the past few episodes some excellent world building. That world building has taken shape by focusing in on these villagers and how they've just kind of been left to rebuild all on their own. Meanwhile, the capital city was taken care of right away, and these people all struggled and have continued to struggle since it happened without financial aid, and in many cases without aid at all. That's just a really realistic approach to the situation, and I really feel like props are required for that.
これあげるから許してね。
Oh no, poor old Gordon.
くそ、マリー、どこにいるんだ。俺の天使マリー、返事してくれ。
読んだかい？
なんだ？
あんたが私の名前を読んだんじゃないか。しかも私のこと天使って。
That just reminded me of Dwight saying Pam in the office, and some other woman walks up on the street called Pam. Oh, that's so gold.
Pam, 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 Pam.
Yeah?
Pam? What?
I'm Pam.
We have a colleague with the same name. So.
Oh, that's fun.
Okay. You're not a liar too, are you?
I've been known to bend the truth.
Damn it. Pam, get out. Right now. Leave it. I mean it. Get the hell out of here. Go!
動きが止まった。
人がいない。これって
測られたな。
じゃあ、ネロちゃんとマリーちゃんの居場所は？
This is another of Black Clover's strong points. They knew it was likely either a trap or a simple ploy to lure them away from the town, but they also knew that they had to check just in case. I feel like another anime that have mindlessly chased after the signal, only to find out it was a ploy. But that's not very smart, and these captains are smart.
金色の夜明けと水色の元禄は国境警備。
Yet another of my waifus and not yours, and her still remaining a part of the anime carries on being a win.
うちの小僧は魔法で攻撃されたら打ち消せるし、まともに殴られたら殴り返せるだけの鍛え方はしてる。これまでは正面からの敵ばっかりだったからそれで良かったんだが。
Pretty clever of the writers to come up with a way in which to best Asta like they did, by using something that was not magic related so that he could not dispel it. A great example of what I've spoken about before, where just more unique types of shots are being used. Bird's eye views, first-person perspectives, swooping overhead shots as people speak. It's really gotten so much better.
デビル・バニッシャーこそ私たちの待ち望んだ正義の使者、悪魔の手先にしよう。
These episodes have done nothing short of a fantastic job of world building, but in a way that I never expected. My ongoing joke is that Black Clover never sweeps anything under the rug, and by that, I mean that the last huge arc has been dissected at length ever since it ended. There's never been an attempt to brush it aside and simply move on. Instead, characters have had to deal with emotions from it, betrayals have been settled, hierarchies put back in place, for example in the Golden Dawn. The villagers and how they've suffered have been covered, and now we've got the growing discontent among the populace on display seeking justice, revenge, and potentially even a toppling of the current state of government. This is all to say that I'm so impressed that the story is not even really just arcs, but instead is a massive, long, continuous story, unlike most things I've seen before now, and for that, it's getting 2 fat wins.
あと少しでデビル・バニッシャーが処刑を予告した正午だ。難しい戦いになるだろうけど、何としてもさらわれた者たちを無事に救い出してほしい。青の野原と水力の灯籠は広場周辺の巡視。この作戦の核となる人質の救出には黒の防御に当たってもらう。
Oh my goodness, it's like a proper military operation going down right here. This is legit!
バンジャンス団長が国境警備で不在のため主力部隊に加わることはできなかったが、わずかな異常も見逃すな。
Thinking outside the box right here by spreading their forces into different areas to patrol in case the whole execution is merely a ruse. That's so clever. I'm so blown away by the thought that's gone into these past few episodes, I swear.
罪なき民を巻き込み危険にさらすことが貴様の正義だというのか。
So much excellent storytelling. This is probably the greatest filler content of all time. It just fits perfectly with the overall anime. That is, unless it's not filler, but I think I saw on a list that it was, which is incredible to me, especially as the guy most anime would have as the typical bad guy is seriously furious with his subordinate putting civilians' lives at risk carrying out his form of justice. Just makes him so not one-dimensional.
さあ、早く渡すのです。おっと、もう一人。
Actually unexpected plot twist!
闇魔法、闇魔とい、
怖かったです。
Yami is so cool, get out of here, run away!
眠り癖。神魔法、小刀直りさみだれ。
Stunningly great animation right there, no cut corners whatsoever. The fact that their plan didn't go the way they wanted it to is the best win of the episode for me. It's more evidence of realism, it proves the enemy is also thinking on their feet. They're not some one and done episode goons, if you know what I mean. I actually cannot believe that. This arc has gotten so serious that members of their cause are willing to take their own lives to stop from being forced to reveal what they know about the group. I have to say it again, this here is filler content done right. It's beautifully well done.
しかし
腰抜けめ、何をつけついている。無礼にも程があるぞ。
Nicely displaying how the order often deteriorates in groups such as these, where any weakness suddenly leads to the others pouncing on that person.
神魔法、小刀直りさみだれ。
お前らもデビル・バニッシャーか。
Plot twist! It's a Yuno plot twist! Get down!
貴様がよくも。
Just 2 more epic examples of these new kinds of stylish shots.
それどころか、悪魔の力を得ようと。なんだと。
That's just stupidly great. I can't tell you how impressed I am. Bloody great storytelling, you mad lads. I tip my hat to you. They really didn't have to put so much effort into the background of the scene, but that's really crisp and clear. I'll avoid showing it, but learning of the exact details of the betrayal within their group via several of them using poison on 3 of them in order to gain the grimoire.
親友のアスタ君に使われた眠り薬や公開処刑で使われたいくつかの薬は間違いなくここで調合されています。
Might sound odd, but I think a big reason why I'm adoring these past few episodes is also because it really reminds me of like a long quest chain that you'd find in one of my favourite video games of all time, that being The Witcher 3, where you start off one place and then things change and you investigate other stuff and so on, just like this.
どうして悪魔に家族を殺された奴が悪魔を崇める者たちの一員なんだ？
That's just a straight up mystery and a hell of an intriguing one at that. Take my win and leave me in deep contemplation.
だがな、もう二度とマリーを危険な目に遭わせんなよ。あ？
さっさと来い。
This.
境外界の人たちにしてみれば、魔法騎士団は何もしてくれなかったどころ。
Really nice little added touch having the leaves of the tree distort the shadows on their face and bodies.
悪魔の力なんてものに頼らなきゃならないほど追い詰められてる人がいるってことね。
This win here reminds me of something I wrote about way back in the first few episodes, where I was initially under the impression that everyone had fantastic magic, and then nobles were introduced, which changed how I saw the power structure, and then captains and so on, and now this right here further opens up how some people have essentially useless magical abilities, and so are going as far as trying to make a deal with the literal devil for more power.
すぐに沈んでしまうけれど、ほんの束の間でもああして綺麗に輝いて。
Getting to see how these two first met at the start of their long journey together.
死ぬ。そうね、死ぬかもしれない。でも、もしたどり着くことができたなら。
Even the weather effects are looking better and better as the episodes progress.
アスターのエコー、俺は連絡がつくところまで戻ってヤミさんに指示を仰いでくる。お前たちはここで待機だ。
Nice to see how his character has progressed as well, now calmly and confidently issuing out orders to the younger members, whereas before he would often act without ever thinking first.
なんだ？
アスタ様。
What? Well, yet another unexpected plot twist!
あいつらは私を認めていたんじゃない。ただ利用していただけよ。私を見下して楽しんで。
Awesome voice acting in a very twisted and raw scene.
どれほど頑張って生きてきたか。
俺もだ。
私もそうだ。僕もだよ。私も。
And this scene for me shows the final decline of the old way of doing things in their kingdom, all based on nobility basically, with them having the most magic and peasants the least. Just really impressed how this story has been built on for well over 130 episodes straight.
約束だ。ネロを解放しろ。
ええ、解放するわ。あなたたちをスペード王国に連れて行った後でね。
Asta being Asta and giving himself up in exchange for Nero being set free like the truly selfless person that he is.
あれは。
マグナ先輩、ユミ団長。
Yet another plot twister there! It's so bizarre to me to see villains like this, born out of desperation and of course a love for one another, pushed to do the unthinkable over such a long period of time which brought them to where they are now. It's a very sweet scene as well as they bond, and the music was plain old lovely too.
Koi.
Asta and his rescue mission. It was simple, but it was also simply awesome at the same time. What? That region really is more dangerous than anyone has ever mentioned. Hot damn! They always do such nice animation smoothness on Magna's attacks, and then everyone leaps in to save these two after everything they've done, including Asta taking a shot to the head to protect her, even though she clutched her bag, clearly thinking he was coming to get his grimoire back.
イグニス・コルムナ。闇魔法、闇魔と運命剣。闇魔法、闇魔とクローバー。
Always such a pleasure getting to see captains battle it out, but especially Yami. He just looks incredible when he gets serious.
私も君たちと同じだ。だが今の魔法帝ユリウス・ノバクロノ様は顔のことなど全く気にすることなく私を買ってくれた。
This just got me emotional in all honesty, especially seeing him talk about Julius and how he looked past his face and helped him, plus some lovely music there too. Really got me.
どうか一度だけでいい。私たちを信じてはくれないだろうか。
一度だけ。
ああ、一度だけ。
Such a beautiful scene where they decide to trust in them. That was so good too.
あなたたちモロカマ。
Showing off the insane speed of Yami, where he moves as fast as he can compared to a normal human.
即刻クローバー王国から去れ。
ラズーさん、誰にも私たちの歩く道を決めることはできない。
好きにしろ。
俺の。
Asta getting his grimoire back, and I gotta say, half the win is for the Scales guy actually being a decent person. He's really come a long way since the start of the arc already, and it's been wild to see.
俺、いつか魔法帝になります。俺が魔法帝になって作りたいのは、この国で暮らすみんながお互いに認め合い、笑い合える自由な国です。約束します。だからどこにいても遠くからでも俺たちをずっと見張っていてください。
Go on then. That was incredibly sweet of him as he reaffirms his pledge.
Oh, that's
Just a straight up gorgeous end to the episode right here as they lay down their masks, symbolising the disbanding of their group officially as they make their way over the border in what is just a great looking and oddly enough, slightly melancholy scene. Black Clover yet again pulling a ReZero and swapping out an ED for more lovely content as we learn what her husband actually said, and shockingly it was denigrating her just as she said they had been doing internally all along, which genuinely shocked me as I thought perhaps she was kind of crazy assuming it, but it was true. A fantastic end to this mini story arc, and you know what? Well worth 2 wins I think as a whole. I loved the entire thing from start to finish.
この国にはほんのわずかだけど魔力に恵まれない人たちがいる。だけどこれが完成すればそんな人たちの悩みを解消できるんだ。
That's crazy knowing that the first Wizard King was well aware of this issue and how it might one day become worse, and so was working hard on the magical item to try and solve it. He really was a great guy. I can't take many more plot twists. This anime needs to calm itself.
おそらく女王が強力なマナの力場を発生させているせいで。
Not only is this an epic looking view and a good example of stylistic angles of late, but it's also good to see Finral exhausted by the long distance travel he just did as it exhausts his mana.
なんなのあの小生意気な顔つき。かわいい。
No, that's cute.
さらに打天使の羽ばたき。フィンラル先輩助かった。
God, this is so very random.
両者の間に厳然と存在する差別をなくすためにも今のクローバー王国に最も必要なものの一つと言えるだろう。
He really is the best. I've been saying that since day one. He's a fantastic character.
あの頃よりはマシだけど、本当の姿で 恥ずかしがらずにいられるようになりたい。私、変わらなきゃ。
Heck yes, another character developing episode of goodness.
顔隠さなくても大丈夫だ。我慢できる。
完璧だ。そうだろう。お前は亀の心を持つ人間だからな。
I literally cannot believe that that's how this went down. But okay, I'm alright with it, I guess. She's now mentally a turtle or something.
お兄ちゃん大好き。
俺もだ。マリー。変身しろ。
恥ずかしいよ。
元に戻ってるじゃねえか。
Okay, she's back, I suppose. But oh man, that scene was funny.
どんな格好してようが、お前はお前だろ。
ゴーシュ君。
That was a sweet scene, and it was nice to see her smile properly for one of the first times.
そうか、そうなのか。それで団長、闇団長とデートとかしてるんですよね。するわけがないだろ。
It's so good to me that instead of doing what most other anime do and having her revert back to being all anti-men or whatever, that she's continued along this trend ever since the reveal. I cannot tell you how rare I found that to be in long-running anime.
4人同時で来るがいい。じゃあ行きますよ、姉さん。
Soul continues to be my waifu and not yours, and that's just an amazing fact in life.
またかよ。具体的には何をなさろうと。
団長同士で戦ってもらうのさ。
I smell a tournament arc in the next part! Take one final win here for part number 10, for some of the best filler episodes of all time and for cramming in loads of character progression and world building, as well as tying up loads of loose ends. I very much hope that you enjoyed, and this is just a reminder that parts 11 and finally 12 will be 10 episodes each. Please be sure to leave a like and a comment, I'd greatly appreciate that, and I'll see you in part 11 or in whatever video you choose to watch next. Nathan Bird, Bird Without a Word, Tyler Warner, PK Fan, Ali 50, Ryan Anderson, Isael Caldera, Mr. Waffle 64, Kieran Robinson, Chris Harris, Yona Shgal, Manolo Saucedo Munoz, Kim Munt, Jason Davies, The Elemental Wars, Manuel Morales Carnito, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Blitzcloud, Sebastian Ramirez, Orakeeper, Jaffa 6263, Magnus, Kevin Melter, Aniki Curve, Brendan Krier, Kaj Vorzelman, Jordan Samuels, Sean Graves, The Epic Commander, Crimson Shadows, Carl Farmer, Adora Blue, Matthew Ditzworth, Sentimento, Gator 2000, Lucky Sam, Storm 970, Inakami Underwater.